The reason you can't stop worrying is because your nervous system thinks worry is protecting you from danger. Even when you logically know the thing you're worrying about is outside of your control, even when you've had the same conversation with yourselves 100 times, your body still treats worry like it's a lifeline. Like, if you stop thinking about it, something terrible will happen. Like, if you just stay in the loop long enough, you will finally feel safe. But the truth is that worry is not protection, it's paralysis. And unless you learn how to break out of that cycle from the inside out, it will keep robbing you of your peace, your presence, and worst of all, your progress. Let me paint the picture because I know you've been here. You're lying in bed, eyes open, and your brain starts scrolling through the worst possible case scenarios. You think thoughts like, what if I lose everything? What if I made the wrong choice? What if this is my fault? What if it's too late? You replay that conversation you had last week. You dissect every sentence. You imagine what people are thinking about you. And none of it's kind. Or you're trying to focus at work and suddenly your mind drifts off. What if the economy crashes? What if my business doesn't make it? What if I made the wrong investment? And then your chest tightens like you just got bad news. Meanwhile, like nothing is actually happening. You're just sitting there. But your nervous system is in full survival mode with your heart racing, your breath shallow, your just stomach in knots. So you check your phone for reassurance. You open 5 tabs to research solutions. You go down the rabbit hole convincing yourself this time you'll solve it if you just think harder. But you don't. You just spiral. And then you beat yourself up for not being able to stop it. I know it seems like you are the weak one or that you're broken, but in reality, you're simply stuck in a loop that your body was never taught how to get out of. Even me, I still catch myself slipping into it. I think about past mistakes I can't undo, like things I said years ago that still make me cringe, or the big choices I made in my career that I sometimes second guess. And I still catch myself spiraling into the future and thinking about what if the market changes? What if people stop showing up? What if this whole thing just falls apart? But what I've learned, both personally and clinically, is that worrying is not a thinking problem, it's a body problem. And if you want peace, you can't just talk yourself into it, you have to train your system into it because your brain doesn't actually care about your goals. Trust me, I wish it did. Instead, it only cares about keeping you alive. So, what does this mean for you? It means that over time, your brain starts to believe that worrying equals safety. It's like a toddler holding onto a broken toy, convinced that letting go would be more painful than keeping it. So, worrying becomes this coping mechanism. It becomes a mental ritual that gives you the illusion of control. Like maybe if you just anticipate everything that could go wrong, you'll be ready. You won't be blindsided, that you'll be safe. But guess what? Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between something you're imagining and something that's actually happening. So when you spend all day catastrophizing, your body reacts like you're being chased by a bear. Cortisol spikes, your blood sugar crashes, your digestive system slows down, your prefrontal cortex, this is the part of your brain that's responsible for clear thinking, actually starts to go offline. And suddenly, you don't just feel stressed, you become stress. It's not your mindset, it's your physiology, which means that we don't just need to stop worrying, we need to retrain your entire system that believes that worry is necessary. And that's what I'm going to help you do today. So let's take your power back, not just mentally, but physiologically. Let's rebuild trust in your brain, in your body, and most importantly, yourself. So I'm going to share 5 ways to really help you break out of the worry trap. Tip number 1 is to anchor into the present moment because this is where your power actually lives. When you're worrying, you're essentially time traveling, and it's not the fun kind of time travel. You're either mentally in the past or you're freaking about a future that hasn't really happened yet. But the present, that's where your choices actually live, and that's where your healing happens. So here's a really quick way to help you anchor yourself. Just take a look down and be like, where are my feet? Just say it out loud, like, where are my feet? Look down, wiggle your toes, take a deep breath. There's just one question snaps you back to where you actually are, which is the present moment and your current surroundings, which oftentimes is a place where everything actually is okay. This simple question brings you back to where you need to be, where there's no catastrophe unfolding. And this is the moment right now, right here, is where you actually have control. This is what actually helps you shift from reaction mode into reality, from fear into action, from chaos into calm. So, as much as possible, keep coming back to the present moment and find a sense of safety in this moment, because it's in this moment here, right now, that you have control to do things differently in your life. The more time you spend in the past or the future, the less control you'll have over your life. Tip number 2 is to give yourself a worry container. And I like to call this the 15-minute worry walk. It is one of my favorite tips to give my patients, something I do sometimes as well. And why this works so well is because worry is really sneaky. It ends up bleeding into every single moment unless you actually control it. And you need to control it by giving it boundaries. So instead of pretending you're not worried, schedule your worry. I know it sounds weird, but trust me on this, okay? Set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and go on a worry walk. Move your body and let your thoughts spiral. Let them go completely out of control. Say everything out loud if you want. But when that timer ends, you're done. You're teaching your brain that this is when we worry, not all day. Not in the middle of dinner, not when it's 2 a.m. and we can't go to sleep, not when we're waking up and driving to work. No, this is the only time of the day that we allow ourselves to worry and allow our worries to go completely crazy. It creates that psychological boundary and it trains your nervous system to release instead of ruminate. And that's why I also love this too. It's not about shoving the worries down. This gives you that beautiful opportunity to really just truly release all your worries, all the stress, and then come back to that present moment. And then throughout the day, it's like, nope, I already had my worry walk. I will worry about this tomorrow when it's time for my worry walk again. Tip number 3 is to build self-trust through micro integrity. So the real reason that worry owns you is because you don't fully trust yourself to handle what's coming. But imagine this. What if you knew you could figure anything out? Like, what if you believed in your ability to adapt, respond, recover, and rise? That's what self-trust feels like. And the way that you build self-trust is through integrity, not just with others, but with yourself. That is probably the most important integrity. And start small. So if you say you're going to drink a glass of water, like drink it. If you say you're going to go on a walk today, walk. If you say you're going to stop checking your email after 8 p.m., then stop. These aren't just habits, they're evidence. And the more evidence you build, the more you believe I can handle anything. And that is the true antidote to worry. Trusting your present self to meet the future, whatever it may bring. So please work on building your integrity. Please work on building your self-trust, because uncertainty is going to exist in life no matter how old you are, how young you are. It's a normal part of life. And uncertainty is what crushes most of us. But if you have self-trust, if you can trust yourself to be like, I got this, you can move through uncertainty in a powerful, powerful way. And tip number 4 is to move your body, which will help to move the fear. And what I want you to realize is that motion is medicine. It truly is. When you move your body, you release pent-up emotion. Your body immediately releases endorphins that literally block the signals of stress. You send blood flow to your prefrontal cortex, right? This part of the brain that says, hey, we've been through worse, we'll figure this out. But more than that, movement reminds your body that you are not frozen, that you're not powerless, that you're not stuck. So go sweat, go lift, go dance, go run, go shake it out, move your body. And what you'll find is that your thoughts will move with it. Movement is truly the fastest way to get unstuck from worrying. And it is my go-to during the day. If I'm ever feeling stressed out, my favorite thing to do is to get up and go for a walk. And the last tip that I have with you is to regulate your blood sugar, because a regulated blood sugar will equal a regulated mind. And this one is huge and no one talks about it, but blood sugar swings don't just make you tired or cranky, they can make your brain panic. When your glucose crashes, your stress hormones spike and they send signals of danger to your brain. So you become more anxious, more reactive, more irrational. And guess what starts spiraling again? Your worry. But here's the fix. If you eat protein at every meal, I always say you want to aim for 25 to 30 grams. If you include fiber-rich vegetables, and if you avoid sugar-heavy snacks, not just sugar-heavy, carb-heavy, fruit-heavy too. Fruit has sugar in it, okay? That spike and crash, It will really, really protect your blood sugar levels and it will prevent you from having those blood sugar spikes and crashes. And I'm not talking about dieting. This is more so about giving your brain what it needs to feel its best and what it needs to feel safe. Because when your body is steady and regulated, when you have energy and when your thoughts are steady, worry literally loses its grip. Your worry is going to try to convince you that it's the only way to stay safe. It will whisper to you that you have to hold on to every outcome, control every scenario, fix every problem in advance. But the truth is that you don't need to control everything to feel safe. You just need to come home to yourself. Because the safest place you'll ever find is inside a body that feels supported and a brain that feels nourished and a soul that knows whatever happens, I've got me. So the next time worry knocks on your door, ask yourself, is this helping me or just holding me hostage? And then choose to step into your power instead, because your nervous system isn't meant to live in fear. It's meant to lead you back to freedom. So if this hit home for you, and you're ready for a personalized plan to break out of the worry spiral, book a free 15-minute clarity call with me. Let's create a plan that helps you retrain your brain, regulate your nervous system, and finally just reclaim the peace that you deserve. Because life's too short to stay stuck in fear.